Welcome to the Skip and Shannon Undisputed podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. You can catch us Monday through Friday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 6:30 Pacific on FS1. Here's what this podcast is all about. It's an unscripted, unfiltered, undisputed version of the day's show, and there is a lot to get into in today's podcast. Skip reflects on the career of Tiger Woods and claims we will never see a more electrifying golfer. Shannon believes after King James takes down the Warriors this year and then gets an additional ring next year, he'll be the GOAT all by himself. Fox Sports NBA analyst Chris Broussard comes to the desk and calls the Warriors the best team LeBron has ever faced with 4 future Hall of Famers. Plus, how will the Cavs defense prepare for the highest scoring offense in the NBA for 3 straight years? Finally, former NBA champ Eddie House is back and tells you why there's more pressure on Kevin Durant than Steph Curry in the finals. Skip and Shannon, let's debate.
How are you, Shannon?
I'm good. How are you today?
Had to get in one good zinger.
I was told they were going for the Bridget Bardot look this morning.
Really?
Yeah. Let's look
Now
there.
that's a hot look.
Did I pull it off?
Yes.
Thanks, Skip.
I mean,
I'm not coming.
Bridget Bardot is something like. I don't know if that's achievable or not. But you got as close
I agree.
as
You know what?
could get.
It's like LeBron trying to reach MJ.
That is
correct.
correct.
Stop it.
Thank you.
Stop it.
Boom.
It started with Tiger Woods. He released a statement yesterday apologizing for his DUI arrest early Monday morning in Jupiter, Florida. Tiger was arrested around 3 a.m. He said, "I understand the severity of what I did and I take full responsibility for my actions. I want the public to know that alcohol was not involved. What happened was an unexpected reaction to prescribed medications. I didn't realize the mix of medications had affected me so strongly. I would like to apologize with all my heart to my family, friends, and the fans. I expect more from myself, too. I will do everything in my power to ensure this never happens again." Skip, does Tiger's statement change how you view the story?
Before I answer your question, I just took another look at that mugshot. I've seen it like 20 times. Is that not the essence of hitting bottom?
Right.
Have you ever seen anything more stunning than that from that greatest smile in sports we used to see back when he dominated, won the Tiger Slam?
Yep.
Wow. So back to your question, does it change the way I feel? No, it does not. He will get no pass from me, alcohol or no alcohol, because this is just me. I don't care how you became impaired behind the wheel. He was still impaired enough that he was driving erratically and, according to the police, I assume dangerously. So in the end, I don't care if it was prescription drugs or alcohol. He was still driving impaired. He was still risking lives, if not his own life. So I give him no pass there. A police report will come out, I assume, later today. So obviously, Tiger is risking here double jeopardy if he got caught in a public lie about his use of alcohol. So number one, I'm going to assume one of 2 things happened. Either he refused the breathalyzer test,
which he did,
so he knows he's off the hook, right, for any alcohol use or abuse. And then it's possible that number 2, he did have 0 alcohol in his system, and it was all about the prescription medications that he takes for his back surgeries, and he's now had his 4th in 4 years. But I remain suspicious about all this. It was 3 o'clock in the morning on a holiday morning, and because of all the back surgeries, I'm assuming that Tiger Woods has great experience in how to handle pain medications and the effects thereof, because he's been doing it for at least 4 years. And he's had so many ACL surgeries and Achilles problems and surgeries. I assume he's been taking pain medications for a long, long time. And in fact, there were reports when he went down to the Gentle Path Rehab Institute for his sex addiction issues, that was back in 2009, that also part of the package was that he was having some pill problems to boot. There's some talk about Ambien, the sleeping pill. But I think he's had ongoing issues with that. I said yesterday, I didn't know of any ongoing alcohol issues, but I read more deeply last night. He has been known to talk about having an adult beverage now and then. His father was known to be a big drinker, but could handle his alcohol. So in the end, I'm one who doesn't give a pass for however you're impaired. And number 2, I definitely don't give a pass, even if he were just having some convivial drinks just to celebrate the holiday or whatever it was. I know there are a lot of people out there who says, okay, so what if he had 1 drink too many and decided to try to drive home? That's just the attitude that kills about 10,000 people a year on our roads. That's just the attitude that has, I think the average is 28 people a day die on the average, from car crashes involving impaired drivers, however they're impaired. So don't bring me, please, any of that. He still was very wrong. He issued the statement. And by the way, I want to congratulate Mark Steinberg, his agent, on another well-crafted statement that he wrote for Tiger Woods. I'm being facetious, but I don't think I am, because I think he did. And it was a well-done statement. He said all the right things. He sort of almost begged the apology, if you will, of, from my heart, I ask the apology of my family, friends, and fans, and he thanked the police for their cooperation. So I get all that, but I'm waiting for the police report today, and I'm not letting Tiger off this hook.
Skip, I agree with everything you just said, and I, too, am not letting him off the hook. You said it's suspicious. My question is, who takes pain medicine and then decide to drive at 3 a.m.? Normally, when you take pain medicine, it tells you, do not operate a vehicle or heavy machinery. Now, as you mentioned, Tiger Woods has had back surgery 4 times in the last 4 years, so he probably should know how this works. They also tell you, do not combine pain medication with alcohol. So because it was prescription and he said it wasn't alcohol, you don't get a pass because you're still impaired. The problem still could arose because you're operating a vehicle under the influence, be it alcohol, prescription drugs. That has no difference. Remember, Skip, intent only matters to the defendant. See, this only matters to him. He's trying to come off as like, guys, I wasn't drinking. This was prescription medication for my back at 3 a.m. Okay, let's just say for the sake of argument, Skip, it's hard for me to believe that Tiger Woods would be out in public with no bodyguards. Okay, he doesn't have bodyguards. You mean to tell me Tiger doesn't have any friends that's looking out for him now? Now, I read that he shied away from a lot of his friends, pulled back from Michael, pulled back from Charles. A lot of guys that were close to him, he pulled back from them.
Yep.
Almost like it was their fault that his marriage fell apart.
Yep.
So now he's in this place, and I'm like, Tiger, you this alone at 3 a.m. in the morning? It's hard for me to believe. Where is he going, Skip?
Or coming from.
Coming from. If he's going to the store, you mean to tell me, Tiger, you don't have a personal shelf? Hard for me to believe he doesn't have a personal shelf. It's hard for me to believe that whatever he was going to get, unless what got him in trouble to begin with in 2009, he doesn't have it at his home, Skip. You're talking about a guy that's worth $600-700 million. He built a compound that he could have everything he needs. He really wouldn't have to go anywhere.
Yep.
And he had to go out at 3 a.m. Or he was coming back from somewhere at 3 a.m. It's just sad that as high as he was, and you look at that mug shot and you're looking at him and it looks so sad. And look, he didn't kill anyone. He didn't kill a dog. He didn't harm a child. He didn't do any of that. All of his wounds are self-inflicted. But I don't know if we've seen an athlete be as high. Tiger's iconic because what he was able to do, Skip, he made a lot of people pick up the game of golf, but he brought a whole different demographic to the game of golf.
He made a whole lot of money for those guys who were already playing the game of golf.
Yes, the purses soared. The galleries flooded because you wanted to see if this was the real deal.
Yep.
And once he proved he was the real deal by winning the Masters by a record margin, everywhere he showed up was sold out.
He wasn't just the face of golf. He became, I think, the face of sports for that 3-year period that he dominated golf in a way I don't think we'll ever see a human dominate golf again.
Skip, he's iconic. And what he was able, think about this, Skip. Nike did apparel. They did basketball, football, soccer, football, European football. Skip, they built a golf line on this young man's back. Jordan Spieth is with Under Armour. They ain't building no golf clubs for Jordan Spieth. Sergio Garcia is with Adidas. They're not building golf clubs for Sergio.
No.
They built a golf business.
They did.
Balls, irons on this young man's back. And he was at the top, Skip. It was, he show up, I got Tiger, I give you the field. I give you the other 149 golfers, I want Tiger. And to where he was at, to where he is now, Skip, if somebody would have told you, this is a Greek tragedy, Skip. If somebody would have told you this, Skip, 5, 6, 7 years ago, you'd have never believed that Tiger Woods would be here.
Yep.
But this is where he finds himself. And my question is, who will Tiger listen to? Who does he, outside of his family, is there a friend that Tiger has in his life that can sit him down and says, okay, Tiger, this is where you are right now. You're not in a good place. And how do we get back to where, forget golf. Now it's about his life, Skip.
I don't know about this. For a while, Mark O'Meara was kind of his big brother because they lived in the same Isleworth community. I think that fell apart. I think Nota Begay, who's now a commentator for the Golf Channel and a former Stanford teammate of his, I think they're still reasonably close. But the gut feeling I get from a lot of the people who cover golf is he just doesn't have a close friend.
He's isolated now.
Yep, he's isolated. So you talk about falls from grace. So we have OJ, who's in a different category because he, we think, killed people, right? And we have Lance Armstrong, who fell from grace because he cheated. Correct? So Tiger didn't cheat. Michael Vick fell from grace because he ran a dog fighting ring, so Tiger didn't do that. He didn't break any laws. And then there's, I could throw a Pete Rose in there. He fell from grace because he gambled on his sport. Tiger didn't, I don't know. I don't think he did that. No knowledge of that.
Can't you gamble if you pick yourself?
I assume you could. and maybe they do, especially in Great Britain where it's easy, you know, but whatever. Who knows about that? But I don't care about that part of it. So here's the outlier of all this. We know that Tiger fell from grace. It started that Thanksgiving night in 2009 when she found him out through text messages, and she threw a fit and ironically hit the car with a golf club, you know, and shattered windows. And then he backed into a hydrant, and here we went. And then all hell broke loose in his life. That was the undoing of his personal life. Then all of his private life became very public, all too public. And the great father and husband that is Tiger Woods was no more. Got exposed. But it didn't wreck his golf career, because I want to point out to everyone, he did, even though he has not been competitive in major championships since pre-2009, 2008 U.S. Open, which he won on a torn ACL and kind of some kind of a fracture in his leg. But I remind everybody, in 2013, Tiger bounced back and was the PGA Player of the Year and won 5 regular season golf tournaments, you know, regular tour stops. 5 times he won. So we saw that Tiger bounce back, and everybody thought, gee, he's back, right? And how many times? I've done thousands of Tiger topics. Is he back? Is he back? Is he back? Yes, no, maybe. Yes, no, maybe. I don't know. And so here we are, and now 4th back surgery. But this back surgery is so bad that it required fusion of L5-S1, your bottom discs there, right? This is the worst thing that can happen to a professional golfer, because, as he said the other day, I'm not allowed to twist to do that movement, which is the essence of the golf swing, right? You can't do that for the next 3 months, he's told. So he's basically starting over at age 41 in a sport that still allows you to compete into your, you could go all the way. I mean, Tom Watson almost won a British Open when he's 59 years old. Phil Mickelson's almost, I think he's close to turning 47 now. He competes, it seems like, in every other major. You know, he's a factor in every major. Okay, so that's possible. So it's a sport that allows you to age very gracefully, you know, towards your sunset. There is a senior tour out there that you can go. Nicklaus and Palmer played the senior tour and had their dominant stretches. Would Tiger, is that beneath his dignity to go try to dominate the Senior Open at age 50? I don't know.
Skip, I think the thing is for Tiger is that once he got walked down by Y.E. Yang at the PGA, the cloak of invincibility went away, because everybody just automatically thought once he had the 54-hole lead, it was over. You're not catching Tiger. And then once all of a sudden golfers are like, hold on, here's Y.E. Yang, who is he? I don't think you've heard. I had never heard of Y.E. Yang before that, and I really haven't heard of him since that.
Well, that's a fact. So your second statement is true. I knew Y.E. Yang was. He was okay. He was a decent player, but he wasn't that guy. He was for about one day. He was that guy.
So guess what now, Skip? Guys are not afraid of him. Guys hold his feet to the fire and says, okay, instead of, because what Tiger would try to do, he would try to race to the lead, and then he would just par everything, make you fall apart trying to catch him. But guys said, you know what would happen if we pulled even with Tiger? Because because normally he's 5 strokes, 7 strokes, 12 strokes, well, he can coast home. But he was only 1 ahead, I think, of Y.E. Yang, maybe 2. and then Y.E. Yang pulled even with him.
It was the first 54-hole lead in a major Tiger had ever lost. And it fractured the aura of invincibility. I would agree.
It's like with any great.
Yeah.
Once you get beat, now you know there's a chance for you to get beat. And so now you're not that dominant. Now you have self-doubt. It's hard, Skip, it's hard. Because imagine a fighter or you individual, one-on-one. And because you don't have your teammates to bail you out. Joey can't bail me out if I'm having a bad game. You can't bail me out. It's you and your mind.
Yep.
And then once that started to waver, all of a sudden he got the yips and balls in the bunkers where he split the fairway. It's in the woods somewhere now. Unfortunately, we're never going to see that guy again, Skip. I just want him to clean his life up. This doesn't change the way I view Tiger. He's a great golfer, but I wasn't trying to get Tiger to raise my kids. I wasn't trying to be like Tiger.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And that's what I tell people all the time, Skip. You never know what a person's like behind closed doors. Because he can hit a golf ball or catch a football or shoot a basketball, be careful how you model your life and what you put these guys on pedestals, because you never know what they're like behind closed doors.
Completely agree with that. But unfortunately for Tiger, he's stuck in a sport that allows you to compete up until your age.
Yes.
You know, right?
Yeah.
Like even at your age, you could be competitive.
Yes.
Julius Boris, nobody knows who he is, but he won at age 48. He won the PGA, so he's the oldest major champion winner. 48. That was a long time ago. That was all the way back in 1968 that he did that. Well, everybody's bigger, stronger, faster, better.
Yeah, the guys are too good now, Skip.
Right?
There are only a handful of guys. Really, back then, there were only probably about 5 or 6 guys. You had the Players and the Trevinos and the Nicklases and the Palmers. You don't have, Skip, you go 10 deep, 15, 20 deep now.
Okay, so the blessing and the curse for Tiger Woods is that he chose a sport that won't let him go. You know, we just keep saying, well, he could still, and he could still.
Right.
He could bounce back. I don't ever see him winning another major championship.
I do not
It's
either.
just too much. The competition is too deep. He's lost too much confidence and invincibility in his own mind.
Yes.
And now he could go out and try to become just another pretty good player. Would he be happy with that?
I don't believe
That's the peak. You know, that's his ceiling now, is to be pretty good. To maybe win every once in a while a regular season stop, you know, tour stop.
And Skip, you go back and you would know this better than I. And Jack has the most majors. But was Jack ever this dominant like Tiger was?
I mean, he finished second. What was it? So many times.
Like 17, like 15, 17. And in majors, he won 18.
No, that 3-year stretch from really from sort of 2000 to 2002 in there, and that Tiger Slam stretch where he did it in reverse order.
He possessed all 4 of the majors.
All four in a row. I've never seen anything like that. I don't think Jack Nicklaus has ever seen anything like that.
Because doesn't he have like 20 more victories than Jack? I mean, he's like at 79. Sam Snead has the record of 82. And I thought that was a realistic. I was like, okay, so what if he doesn't break the record of 18? But if you can get to 83, 84 and have 14 majors, which is about 20 more than Jack, it's hard for me to argue to say that you're not the greatest.
I would agree. I think most people believe Tiger for that stretch was the greatest player ever. So I give him that. And I can't write him off now. And I think he's stuck because nobody's going to let go of him, because golf has still never been the same. I'll tell you this for a fact. I don't think we'll ever see a more electrifying performer in golf than Tiger Woods was. No. He took a boring sport and made it exciting for the masses to watch.
He made it.
That's impossible.
Skip, he brought a whole demographic. The black demographic came to the game of golf. They watched it casual. Because, Skip, they had Calvin Peete. Calvin Peete won. Jim Dent and Thorpe. They had some guys.
Don't underestimate this. Don't underestimate the white casual fan.
Yes.
My mother played golf, but she didn't ever watch golf, and she would not miss a Tiger tournament where she was just addicted to him. And once he failed and fell off, she just gave up. She didn't watch golf anymore.
Skip, I played in the NFL for 14 years, and when I was playing, I really never heard black guys. Now, the white guys, the quarterbacks, and some of the guy receivers, they played golf. But when Tiger burst on the scene, almost everybody went out and get golf clubs.
Yep.
I'm Tiger Woods. I'm Tiger Woo. I'm Tiger. That's what he did, Skip. But, I mean, to go from that
to that,
because you used to see him in red. Skip, you know when he had that red on Sunday, you know what he meant.
Well, because he was so dominant and unique, and because you can play so long, his career is going to feel unfinished for
Yeah,
everyone
it will.
unless he comes back to win.
It's almost like a train wreck for the last 10 years.
It just
Yeah.
keeps on keeping
like
on.
you said,
Yeah.
2008 was the last U.S. Open,
Yeah.
and here we are 2017, and he hadn't won a major. So it's like it's playing out in front of us where he's going to have 15 years or he does nothing. It's like, well,
Right.
what everybody talking about Tiger for?
But priorities now, forget golf. He needs to get his life together.
No mercy.
Before we move into the next topic, I want to bring in Skip and Shannon to tell you about a great offer for our listeners from Saks Underwear Company.
Thanks, Joy. Skip and I wanted to tell you about Saks Underwear Company.
That's right, Shannon. We all know that most guys settle for underwear that just isn't quite right. It's not as comfortable as it should be, or it should have been thrown out months ago, if not years ago. Nowadays, there are so many options to choose from, but I want to tell you about one brand, Saks. Shannon and I may disagree from time to time on Undisputed, but who can question the word of a guy who made the Pro Football Hall of Fame? Shannon, how important is comfort when you're working out?
Comfort is very important when you work out. You don't want something too snug. You don't want something too loose. You want something that will absorb the moisture, but you feel comfortable in it. And the more comfortable you are when you work out, I believe the longer you will work out. And that's the most important thing. So I am glad I got an opportunity to try Saks Underwear Company, and they're working great for me.
That's right, Shannon. Saks was created by a real guy, an athlete, and an outdoorsman, so Saks knows what guys are looking for when it comes to a good pair of underwear. Saks is more supportive than other brands out there, and it uses the highest quality material. Saks will keep you cool, dry, and comfortable. We want you to use Saks so you can feel the difference for yourself. Go to our special site, saksunderwear.com/undisputed, and you'll get 20% off your first purchase for a limited time only. That's Saks with 2 X's, SAXX underwear.com/undisputed for 20% off your first purchase.
Thanks, guys. That's saksunderwear.com/undisputed for 20% off your first purchase. That's Saks with 2 X's. One more time, that's saksunderwear.com/undisputed. Now back to the show.
No mercy.
LeBron James is the first player in over 50 years to make 7 straight finals, and a second straight win over the Warriors would improve his finals record to an even 4-4. Regardless of the result, LeBron took the time to reflect on his accomplishment. Let's take a listen.
What does that mean to you to now it's 7 straight finals? And I mean, we haven't seen this since Bill Russell and stuff.
All right. I don't know. I think it's going to be great for my legacy once I'm done playing the game. And we look back on the game and we say, oh, you know, this guy went to 3 straight finals, 4 straight finals, 5, 6, whatever, 7. I think it's great to be talked about, see what I was able to accomplish as an individual.
Shannon, what does this mean for LeBron's legacy?
It doesn't hurt, but I know what you're going to say, Skip Bayless.
How do you know?
Because I know you. Why Joy Taylor? Why is LeBron talking about his legacy? That's something Michael Jordan never did while he played. Michael never talked about his legacy because you parse everything LeBron says. LeBron, after the Eastern Conference Finals, said, guys, I want to enjoy this. I don't want to be stressed thinking about the Warriors. And what did Skip Bayless come in here to do the next morning? Instead of giving the man praise for what he had done, Michael Jordan would have never said he was stressed about a team. Now you want to try to parse everything he says.
Could I ask one quick question?
You sure can.
Did you ever hear Michael Jordan? Let me ask this. Did you ever hear Michael Jordan talk about how many finals he'd been to? Ever? Did he ever say, I've been to...
He never went to 7 in a row.
He just
There are a
won
lot of
all
people-
6. That's all that matters.
There's a lot of people that's gone to 3 finals in a row.
Oh.
Unless you played with Russell in the 60s, you know nothing about this. LeBron know all about it. And not only did he go to 7 straight, he's taken 2 teams to 4. Oh! Skip, when it's all said and done, LeBron can say, you know what? He can say, Dan Gilbert, I had a dream last night. I was laying there with Savannah, and I thought about that letter that you wrote and how you said I quit on you in Game 6 in 2010. I'm done. I'm out. He's the greatest small forward to ever play the game. And all those people talk about, what about Larry Bird? I said, well, Larry Bird can be the greatest, but he got to switch positions because he ain't the greatest small forward. That's LeBron James.
Okay.
Now, with that, don't you try to take my shine. What he's been able to do, the longevity and the excellence, because, you know, LeBron James ain't quit in the middle of his career. He ain't take a year and a half off to go try to go cliff diving or scale Mount Everest like somebody else. He had a hobby. He had an itch he wanted to scratch.
What?
Yeah, Michael Jordan. You remember, Skip? He took a year and a half off.
He was forced to.
I don't care what LeBron says. I ain't forced to do nothing but keep going to these finals. And I hope you like it. Because guess what, Skip? He going to 3 more.
Is he?
10 straight.
Oh.
And when it's all said, after they take down the Golden State Warriors, Skip, ain't gonna be no more talking, well, where do you rank LeBron? He and Michael Jordan's holding hands when they walk in the door because they side by side. Nobody's in front of the other. And then when he go back next year and wins another one, LeBron say, I got to drop you off here, Mike. I got to go alone. I'm in this room by myself. Kick his heels up on the desk and holler out there, hey, Magic.
Oh, no.
Tell LeBron, hey.
No socks again?
Hold on. Hey, Magic, tell Jordan, call my secretary when he want to schedule a round of golf. Because as the new GOAT, I'm in here by myself, and I don't want anybody coming in here dirtying up my office. That's what LeBron going to tell him after he wins this year and next year.
Shannon, I really don't want you to pull anything when you keep doing that.
But Skip, I'm flexible. I've been stretching, Skip. I'm about to do a split. I'm going to do a split one day like James Brown.
Yeah. I'm about to split your opinion is what I'm about to split. So, one point of order here.
Okay, go ahead.
Michael Jordan is holding hands with nobody but his wife. Let's get that straight.
Not after this finals, Skip.
No, I'm sorry. So, a couple of quick questions.
Okay.
Back in 2009, LeBron was in Cleveland. Guess what? Cleveland was the #1 seed in 2009.
Yes.
They lost to Orlando in 6 games in the conference final.
Yeah.
I don't know how that happened, but just for the record, that should have been another one. Then 2010, wait a second, once again, #1 seed was Cleveland. They won the most games in the East. Wow, that was pretty good. And wait a second, they lost to Boston in 6, and the owner said LeBron quit during the final. Ooh, and that was the conference semifinals. That wasn't even the conference finals. So those are 2 big wasted opportunities. And by the way, that 2010 team had added Shaq and Antoine Jameson.
Stop, Skip.
Besides Ilgauskas and Mo Williams and
Skip.
Delonte, and I can go on and on. It's a pretty good team.
In 2009, what year did Shaq come out in the draft, Skip?
I don't know. It's just he's still Shaquille O'Neal. He's
the man was 17 years old.
Top 5 all-time player.
But he wasn't at that time.
Okay. So back to the point here.
Okay.
So now LeBron has been to 7 straight finals, and I'm looking at all these years, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Is it fair to say that LeBron's teams, the super team that was the Heat and the super team that became the Cavaliers, were they favored to win the Eastern Conference every one of those years? Yes, they were.
They were not the #1 seed.
Well, but they were favored. That's their fault.
Wow.
That's their fault. They underachieved during the regular season, but it still didn't hurt them because there's still no competition to speak of. I'm looking at all the games LeBron has been tested in over 7 long playoff seasons. There's only one great game that he played, and I've always given you this one. It was Game 6 against Boston when they were in fear of being eliminated at Boston Garden. That was a Friday night, I believe.
Why do you gloss over?
I give him that one. That was big. What did he go? 45, 15, and 5.
Why do you want to gloss over that outstanding performance that he put up against Indiana when they were down 2-1? You forget that game, Joe? You didn't forget that, did you? Joe, hold on.
Wait a second. That was the game D. Wade just took over the game in the second half and wound up with 30 points. I thought that was Dwayne's best game of the whole Heat run with LeBron.
What LeBron do?
He was good.
Good?
Yeah, go check out. Look at the second half box and tell me who was good.
Skip.
Look who saved the day. D. Wade did.
Skip, why?
Batman, and obviously LeBron was Robin.
First of all, there's no Robin. Yeah. Right now, the closest thing he got to Robin is Kyrie. Okay? But when Batman, he's a combination. LeBron is a combination. I've given you the superhero who he's a combination of. Superman, Iron Man, and Batman. He got swag.
LeBron's got some Robin in him, and it comes out like in the 2011 finals against Dallas. That was Robin.
Oh,
who was it, Robin?
You mean with the NG? Like robbing people of titles? That's what he do, Skip. And he about to rob the Golden State Warriors of a title.
Okay. So if you want to know the raw truth about this question and topic, the greatest thing that ever happened to LeBron's legacy wasn't getting to 7 straight finals. It was Ray Allen shot in Game 6 in 2013.
Goodness,
it was
Skip,
Draymond.
why you do this?
Let me finish. And it was Draymond getting suspended for Game 5 last year. Those 2 saved LeBron's legacy. Without those 2 events happening, I'm not exaggerating this one bit. I'm being straight from the heart, from the gut, from the soul. Without Ray Allen shot and Draymond getting suspended, LeBron James is 1-6 in NBA Finals.
Okay.
You know it and I know it. It's a fact.
If Larry Bird and McHale
We always have to change
Parrish,
to somebody else. We can't do. You can't respond to what I just said.
But Skip,
because you have no answer. You have no ammo.
But let me ask you a question.
Out.
Why is it that LeBron is the only one allowed to have teammates to do their job? Every Magic, when James Worthy had 36, 10, and 10 in the finals, nobody said Worthy saved his legacy, although James Worthy was the finals MVP. Nobody said James Worthy.
Was that last play in Game 6 called for Ray Allen? Help me out. Did LeBron pull him aside in the sideline huddle and said, I need you to make the last shot?
No, he did.
They're going to double me, so I need you to make the last shot.
He did that in Kyrie in Game 7 of the finals last year.
I'm talking about the Ray Allen game. What happened? LeBron took the last shot and LeBricked.
Skip, but why don't you tell Skip? Why would you tell the people the whole story that he had a triple-double and that he had 16 points? They were down 10 entering the fourth quarter. He scored 16, assisted on another 6. So 22 of the 30 points they scored had LeBron imprint on it. But you just look at one thing.
I look at 3 things down the stretch. 3 unforced error turnovers by LeBron James, including 2 in the last 39 seconds of the game. 2 turnovers? It was unbelievable. He's like, here, take it back. Here, take it back.
Okay.
I give you the game back.
Okay, well, since you're going to do that that was 2013, right? How about 2016? LeBron had a 3 and a chase down block. So guess what? Ta-da, his legacy is restored. See what I did there, Skip?
So just expunge the record. It's over. Sweep it under the carpet. LeBron James, most overprotected superstar in sports history. Well, the apologists are everywhere. It's like an epidemic of apologists for LeBron James.
But this is what you do with Michael.
It's the Walking Dead. They're all out there.
From 80, but this is what you do for Michael. From 1984 to 1990.
LeBron.
Put your hands down, Joy.
2011 didn't happen.
You must have been taking up Tiger Woods medicine. But anyway, Skip, why do you do that with Michael, though? 84 to 90 didn't happen. All everybody wants to talk about is 91 to 98. Why is that, Skip? 84 to 90 happened.
The teams who are overcoming him are calling him Jesus in sneakers. That's how the whole book written about the bad boy Pistons, the Jordan Rules. It's the name of Sam Smith's book. The Jordan Rules is how they had to stop Michael Jordan because it was the bad boy Pistons against one guy, Michael Jordan.
Think about this. The Golden State Warriors wanted to beat LeBron so bad. What did they do, Skip? They went and got the second best player in the NBA with a 2-time MVP already on the team.
After they had him down 3-1 last year.
And he came back.
And he came back because Draymond got suspended and Bogut got hurt for 6 and 7.
LeBron planted oak trees on Draymond's neck.
He could be 1-6 in the NBA Finals, but he's saying, this is great for my legacy that I got to 7 straight finals. I'm impressed, LeBron.
But why do you do that? Why is everybody else's teammates are doing their job? Robert Horry did his job when he made shots. James Worthy did his job when he made shots. Everybody, but except LeBron. Those are legacy-saving plays for LeBron. Only LeBron. Adam Vinatieri, you won't say Adam Vinatieri saved, but who got him in position? Well, who got the Heat in position? They were down.
LeBron missed a shot so badly that Bosh was able to run and get the long rebound and kick it to the corner.
So if he doesn't score those 16 points, you think they're in position?
No, he was really good, but he's not really good when it counts.
Okay, what about
clutch Gene? Thank you.
I gave you 5 instances yesterday that he hit the shot to win the game. 5 of them. 5.
Yep.
2 against the Wizards in 06.
In 1,273 games. Wow. That's impressive, and he's on Mount Rushmore.
How many did Jordan have?
LeBron James. No mercy.
LeBron James is getting ready for his 7th straight NBA Finals, but might be facing his greatest challenge yet. The Cavs beat a 73-win Warriors team a year ago, but Golden State responded by adding another former MVP in Kevin Durant. LeBron was asked over the weekend about the Warriors' Big Four. Let's take a listen.
Where do you think this ranks in terms of the challenge you've been presented with having to play a team with those 4 guys?
It's probably up there. I mean, it's up there. Obviously, I played against 4 Hall of Famers as well too. You know, with Manu, Kawhi, Tony, and Timmy D on the same team. And if you add Pop in there, that's 5 Hall of Famers. So. It's going to be very challenging. Those guys are going to challenge me. They're going to challenge our ball club. So, this is a high-powered team, and I've played against some other. I played against Ray, KG, Paul, Rondo, and Doc. So it's going to be very challenging, not only on me mentally, but on our ball club and our franchise.
We're joined now by Chris Broussard. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you.
Are these Warriors the best team that LeBron has faced in the finals?
It's not the most accomplished. That would be San Antonio in 07. And that was the greatest challenge because you had Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, and Manu all in their prime. You had Bruce Bowen, you had Michael Finley, Robert Horry. I mean, that was a great team. And they obviously swept the Cavs. He had nobody to work with. So as far as challenges, that was his greatest challenge.
Let's give Mo Williams a little respect.
No, we
just a little respect. He's an all-star.
Mo had a good year. He had a good year. He hasn't really started anywhere else, but with LeBron, he was an all-star.
The only Mo you really
But
know.
you know that team was probably the worst team ever to get to the finals.
Chris,
arguably.
Chris, the only Mo that you really know was with the Three Stooges. Mo, Larry, and Kurt. So stop talking about Mo Williams.
How do you know the Three Stooges? How old are you?
Why you
I want to know.
Skip, we had a TV, okay?
But to answer the question, this is the best team he's ever faced because you got 2 MVPs in their prime that no other team he's faced had that. You're the best offensive team in the league and the second best defensive team in the league. No other team he's faced has done that. I think at the end of the day, this team will have 4 Hall of Famers. So you got 2 for sure, Durant and Steph. And I think if they keep getting to the finals and win some of them, which they probably will, then all 4, Draymond and Klay, will end up being Hall of Famers as well. And then I think their bench, which earlier in the season struggled, has really come on and is tough now. And I'm going to say this. They've got the best backcourt in NBA history, Steph and Klay. Because if you look at all the other great backcourts, Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars obviously comes to mind, Walt Frazier, Earl Monroe, those duos had like 3, 4, maybe 5 years together in their prime, if that. Whereas Klay and Steph are in their prime together their entire careers. And then Durant's a top 5 power forward or small forward of all time, one of the top scorers of all time. So, yeah, I think this is clearly the best team.
But we know he can't ever be number 1, don't we, Chris? We know
I agree. Not number 1 or probably not number 2.
So we know that for fact.
We don't know it for a fact.
We know it for fact.
You know that, Skip. You'll even admit that.
This is the toughest. This is the toughest because of what he's up against. And as you mentioned, all these guys are in their absolute prime. He's facing the MVP from 13, 14, and 15 in their prime. 4 All-Stars the same season. 3 All-NBA players. Now, if you throw Klay in there, Klay was All-NBA last year. So he got 4 All-NBA players. All of these guys are in their prime. And as Chris mentioned, they're the number 1 offensive team, but the number 2 defensive team. So not only can they go score 140 on you, they can hold you to 90. When you throw that, Skip, let's be real. Now, I'm still, you know, LeBron. LeBron gonna be able to do no wrong. Because I think if he could take down a 73-9 team, being down 3-1, sky's the limit.
So LeBron's competition is really only LeBron. You know, if he plays up to his level, then they're going to beat anybody, right?
But if you look at when they took down the Thunder was young. So I'm gonna give, even though they're gonna be 3 Hall of Famers, KD, Russ, and Harden. The big 3 in Boston, KG, Ray, as he mentioned, and he took down San Antonio in 13. Now they came back to get him because they got 4, but
he's faced teams that are
way better than what Michael.
That's true.
Michael's only faced 2 Hall of Famers. The most he's ever faced on one team is 2. Old Magic.
Tell me when it's my turn.
Okay. Old Magic, Old Worthy, 91. He faced Stockton and Malone.
That's not the question we're talking about right now.
Yes, it is.
Those are facts. You're right. Yeah. Those are facts. You got to admit that, Skip.
So here's the ultimate fact of this discussion. The man across from me, my friend Shannon Sharpe, is trying to make a case for the super team that is the Warriors. One of the greatest teams ever assembled, maybe the greatest ever, so that when LeBron takes them down, then LeBron can walk hand in hand into heaven with Michael Jordan. So that's what we're trying to say. That's the essence of this discussion right now. Now, can we get back to the realities of this discussion, please, from 2 blind witnesses?
You're going to take the opposite approach. Tear them down.
Here's the point.
So that it's not an accomplishment.
Seriously.
Okay.
nothing but the truth. Kevin Durant and Steph Curry have proven next to nothing to me in the postseason. Either one of them. Next to nothing in the postseason. Either one of them. Because let's start with Kevin Durant. Did he not come up small against LeBron in the 2012 finals?
He averaged
really
30
did.
on 50%.
Oh, he played well. How did he come
I
up?
thought he couldn't defend
Harden
LeBron.
came up. Well, yeah, who can?
Okay, well, I'm just saying, I was disappointed in him in the big picture because LeBron just took him to school. You can say he was a baby and Harden was a baby and Westbrook was a baby. And at one point, Magic called a half that Westbrook played in the first game, I think, in Miami, the worst half I've ever seen a point guard play in a finals game. But we get all that. So let's go to 2013. Kevin Durant had a chance to make a big statement because Russell Westbrook was hurt in their series against Memphis, and they won Game 1, and then they proceeded to lose 4 in a row. And in clutch stats, late game stats, Kevin Durant came up really small in that one. He was 3 for 17 in late game situations, 0 for 3 from 3, and 2 for 5 from the free throw line. And then what happened in 2014 when my Spurs went on to blow out LeBron by a record margin in the finals? Game 6 at Oklahoma City. What happened? My Spurs knocked out the vaunted Oklahoma City Thunder of Westbrook and Kevin Durant, who, by the way, in overtime of that Game 6, Kevin Durant went 0 for 3 in overtime. This is where your money is made, your legacy is built, and I'm sorry, I just couldn't see it. And then last year, of course, Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook were up 3-1. They lost 3 in a row, and in those 3 games combined, Kevin Durant was 7 of 26 from the three-point line. That's 27%, and that's not good enough. So I see next to nothing in his postseason legacy to date. He's been really good in these playoffs against, I've given you this from the start, little to no competition on the western side of the bracket. So let's look at Steph Curry. Has he even remotely lived up to his regular season MVPs over the last 2, let's just say finals, okay? Last 2 finals? No, because
2015 he averaged more points in the finals
but
than he did
Iguodala
the
was the MVP. I'm sorry, he was, and the whole series swung when Iguodala was inserted into the starting lineup in that pivotal Game 4 that LeBron should have won in his house up 2-1. He just should have won it. If he's on Mount Rushmore, you win that game. And he came up small. My friend Stephen A. Smith said, he ran out of gas. Well, LeBron, Iron Man doesn't run out of gas in Game 4 of the finals. I'm sorry.
But you said Russell Westbrook ran out of gas this year. That's what you said.
Okay, but he's not on Mount Rushmore. This is the Iron Man.
Everybody else you'd put on Mount Rushmore other
let's
than
go
Jordan
to Steph Curry last year in the finals. Was he hurt,
No.
nicked?
Well,
Who knows? Well, okay. But again, they're up 3-1, and boy, those last 3 games, Steph came up even smaller than he actually is because he had 7 assists to 12 turnovers in those games. And if we look at his PER in the 3 series in which he might have been hurt, but the conference semis, then conference finals and NBA finals, his PER fell from 29-1 in the semis to 24-1. To the NBA finals, he had a 16.3 PER in the finals, which is abysmal for a guy who had just won the unanimous MVP. They have proven next to nothing, so don't bring super team to me because you have nothing to show for it.
They got 1 ring. Steph was 25.6 assists and 5 rebounds in the finals 2 years ago. The last 3 games, he averaged 29 points
they were in
on
big trouble.
49%
they were down 2
shooting.
games to 1.
But so what? I mean, Jordan's been down 2-1.
But Skip, this is what I don't understand. Why is it that no one can outlive their past except Michael Jordan? We forget that, like, anything that happened outside of those finals didn't exist.
We went 6-0 with 6 MVPs. That's,
but Skip, he played 16
what's to outlive?
Skip, he played
the
16
first 6 years where they didn't get to the finals.
Yes, when he got swept. When he didn't have Scottie Pippen, he never won a playoff series without Scottie Pippen. He got swept twice by Boston, and he lost to the Bucks. You remember the Bucks with Terry Cummings?
You want to talk about being up against all-time great teams? Those were 3. No, back to.
He never beat them. That's the thing.
Couldn't
He
beat
never
the bad
beat
boys. Couldn't beat
the bad boys were old
Celtics.
when he beat. And I'm with you on Jordan being the GOAT, but you shoot down LeBron's competition and then raise up Jordan's. It's ridiculous.
It's not ridiculous. I just gave you. Do you think Kevin Durant's been good in the postseason?
Yes. What's his career average in the postseason?
What's he done?
It's got to be 28 points.
He ran to Golden State. He ran to Golden State. That's all you need to know.
So you holding that against him?
Has Steph Curry been good in the last 2 finals? He has not by his
25, 6, and 5.
Did he take over the finals?
He averaged 23 points that year when he won MVP.
So you think the media was out of its mind to vote Andre Iguodala the MVP?
Yes, honestly,
I don't. I thought he was.
It's only about 11 people that
30
vote anyway for Finals MVP. For him not to get a vote, they weren't. I was at the games. You watched them. They didn't guard Iguodala. No. Timothy Mozgov was guarding him, standing in the paint, and Iguodala's at the three-point line,
the whole
daring
series.
him to shoot.
And he
He's a
averaged
role
16
player.
points. They basically gave that because he held LeBron to 35, 13, and 9.
Yeah. Do you think Steph played well last year in the finals?
No, he didn't, Skip.
It's terrible.
But Skip.
I wouldn't say terrible. He
By
wasn't
his
up to
standards?
himself. He wasn't up to
He was
himself.
the unanimous MVP, the first ever.
Skip, there's never been a team like this assembled in the finals where the guys are in their prime. When Kareem and Magic was together late, they weren't in
Is LeBron better than Kevin Durant?
But Skip, that's one player.
Is Kyrie better on the big stage than Steph is? Yes, he is. He's
We
shown
don't
me
know
regularly.
that. You would rather have Kyrie than Steph?
Yes, I would on this stage, definitely.
Skip, they got 4 All-Stars, 3 All-NBA players this year. Not a career achievement. We're talking about this year. And they're going to have the Defensive Player of the Year in Draymond. They won 67 games after winning 73 the year before. And you mean to tell me Michael Jordan never went against a team like this? Never, ever, ever, Skip,
So
and you know it.
To LeBron's credit, he immediately brought up my Spurs as the best competition he's faced. And he didn't say they're the best, but he brought them up quickly, like, don't forget about this, this, and this, because the first time they played in 07 when they got swept, Duncan already had 3 rings, Manu had 2, and Tony Parker had 2, and obviously Pop
they had won 3 and 5, or about to win 3.
So then they added a guy in Kawhi Leonard who has now 1 ring that should be 2 rings.
No, it should be 1.
It should be 2
It
rings.
should be 1. That's what he got.
Allen. So the point is, those teams were routinely better because they were more accomplished than this Golden State team.
Not the 13-14 team or the 14 team.
I'll take it. I'll take it over this one. By the way,
those guys were old.
How about the 17 team that was up 23 points in the third quarter?
They're going to be
one.
watching it just like the rest of us.
Okay, but they were up until their best player, the best
nothing.
two-way player in basketball, got hurt.
No mercy.
The Cavs defense was a major concern this year after giving up 107 points per game in the regular season, almost 10 more than a year ago. The defense has improved slightly in the playoffs, but now the Cavs face their biggest test in a Warriors team that has led the NBA in scoring for 3 straight years. Shannon, how much confidence do you have in the Cavs defense?
I have a lot of confidence in them for the simple fact they know what they're up against. We've seen times that when they lock in and focus, they can hold teams down. Held Boston, I think, the one quarter held them 15 points, did something very similar to Indiana. I think they'll be able to focus for the simple fact they know what they're up against. They know if you have a lull against this team, you're down by 20. They can score 45, 50 points in a quarter and blow you smooth out the gym. So I know they will be focused in this situation. Another thing, Skip, is that what the Warriors do a very good job of, they are a team that takes a lot of difficult shots and they make them. And you see guys' shoulders start to slump. They look to the bench like, what am I supposed to do? But you can't lose focus because a lot of what the shots they take are meant to do just that, to demoralize their opponent. When Steph Curry is going all behind his back and between his legs and he pulls up from 35, what are you supposed to do about that? Don't worry about it, JR. Just hug up to him as best you can and, hey, hope the next one doesn't go in. That's what you have to do. They can't leave guys open like they left Indiana, Toronto, and Boston because the guys that you're talking about possibly leaving open, that's KD. That's Steph Curry. That's Klay Thompson. Now, Klay is struggling a little bit, and maybe that's because his legs chasing Patty Mills around all those screens, but he averaged 14 points in this last series. They will dig in. They will play a lot better. Kyrie knows, he knows the other point guard. He knows what he's up against. LeBron knows what KD is. KD knows what he's up against. JR knows what Klay Thompson can do to him. So I'm not really overly concerned because I believe they'll lock in for 48 minutes every game because if they don't, they know what the Warriors want to do. The Warriors just don't want to beat them. The Warriors want to obliterate them. They want to annihilate them. They want to embarrass them.
So for once on a topic involving these finals and LeBron James, I'm not going to try to blow you out of the water on this one. I give you all the points you just made.
But
I do have respect for the way the Cavs have played the Warriors in the past.
Right.
I underline, in the past. 2 finals ago, they held Golden State 10 points under their regular season average, and I was impressed. And that was without mostly Kyrie and all of Kevin Love, right? And then last year in the finals, they held Golden State 15 points under their regular season average. They got rough with them. They got tough with them. I thought they intimidated Steph and Klay and whoever was out there on the perimeter. they played some football in a high-stakes basketball game, and that had a lot to do with why they reversed their fortunes and won the last 3 games. So I'm going to give you all that. But I'm also going to give you a second-level stat. If we exclude Kyle Lowry, who didn't play all that much in the Toronto series, and when he did, he wasn't very good, and if we exclude Isaiah Thomas in the Boston series, that means that the Cavs have yet to face a top 25 player in what's called real plus-minus, which is a pretty telling stat, in these playoffs. Golden State has 3 of those. So all of a sudden, the task elevates exponentially. That's why I'm fascinated by this series, because this is it. This is the essence of what's about to happen in the series. Can the Cavs keep the Golden State Warriors from scoring what they usually score? Because if they can't, this is going to be a rout.
Yes.
Okay? So now, the huge advantage here is going to be the so-called death lineup of the Golden State Warriors, because all of a sudden the death lineup added the Grim Reaper, Kevin Durant.
Correct.
So you're going to have to help me walk me through the strategy here. If Golden State goes quote-unquote small, they still have Kevin Durant and Draymond on the floor, both of whom can defend the post, so they're still pretty good. So if they bring in Iguodala along with Steph and Clay, help me out. Kevin Love is going to guard
Draymond.
Draymond?
Yes.
Who's going to guard Iguodala? Tristan? I mean, how are you going to do it?
I don't. If they go to that lineup, they can't play big. If you play big, you got to be willing to punish them down low. Tristan Thompson is not a back-to-the-basket type player. He's a guy that dives, gets balls, alley-oops.
But I'm talking about who's going to guard whom, because for Cleveland, you're in trouble because I assume LeBron has to guard KD, and I'm assuming Kyrie's going to stay on Steph, and JR could take Clay, and then Tristan. Now, pick your poison. Is Tristan going to play Draymond? I would assume so, which leaves Kevin Love on Iguodala.
Well, you know, a lot of times when they go with their second unit, they'll go LeBron, they'll go Darren Williams, they'll go Kyle Korver, they will go Shumpert, and they'll go either Kevin Love or Tristan Thompson. Occasionally, they'll switch up and go Channing Frye. So that's the lineup I'll see them going to. They will probably bring in Shumpert to guard Clay, and they'll have Kevin Love guard Draymond, and then everybody else match up from there.
Okay, but to me, Kevin Love is going to become, at times, maybe long stretches, the odd man out that you can't cover for him on defense. He's not very good on defense, even though he made a steal late in the game on the perimeter in Game 7 that helped turn the game around.
Did you see that D he put on Steph?
That's what I'm saying.
Steph couldn't shake him.
Couldn't shake him.
Couldn't shake him. He was going all behind his back. Kevin Love was sitting down in that chair like, come here.
I'll take that every time, and I think you're going to be in big trouble.
K-Love said, hey, when you get done patting it behind your back, going between your legs, he's like, I'm going to be right over here because I know you're coming back because you're a right-handed shooter. So I know you got to come back to me to try to get that shot off. So when you get done doing all that over there, I'll be right here.
Which brings me to the even bigger issue here. How hurt was Steph Curry in last year's finals or playoffs in general? His brother sat right here, his younger brother, and said he was hurt, lost his burst, lost his step of quickness, lost that gear, and now he's got it back. And I said the other day, I've never seen Steph Curry play better than he has over about the last month or so. So I also point out to you this. Last year, LeBron got to guard. Who was that guy? That guy who went to Dallas? Oh, yeah, Harrison Barnes. Remember that guy? How soon we forget because
he couldn't make a shot.
He couldn't make a shot in Game 5, 6, or 7 because he scores 5 points, 0 points in Game 6, and then he had 10 in Game 7. But total, he shot 5 for 32 in the 3-game stretch, was 16%. 3 for 15 from 3, which is 20%. Couldn't get to the free throw line, shot 4 and made 2. So he was a liability that LeBron James, who, if we see any decline in LeBron's game, it's on the defensive end, where he just sort of roams now and likes to play center field and just disrupt and disturb and do whatever he feels like. And I get that, but he could get away with a lot more of that against Harrison Barnes than he can against Kevin Durant. All of a sudden, the stakes go way up for LeBron on his responsibilities on defense, which could take something out of him on offense. So all of a sudden, the whole dynamic is changing because LeBron's going to have to guard Kevin Durant unless they switch some and he plays Draymond or
And I think that had a lot to do with Steph not being able to do what he needed to do offensively because he had to guard Kyrie. And that's what you have, a scorer, you must make him play defense because if you allow him to rest, he will punish you on the offensive end. Well, you guarding Kyrie, you can't rest. Steph couldn't rest. He had to guard Kyrie. And what did they do? They ran a lot of pick and roll with LeBron and Kyrie because guess what? That means Steph Curry has got to post up with LeBron. Now, it's going to be a lot different now because what are they going to do, Skip? What will the Warriors do if they go high pick and roll with a LeBron and Kyrie? Steph Curry's back on James again, back down, shoot over the top.
Okay, that's fine. But if the other team just keeps scoring and scoring and scoring and you can't get a stop, that won't be enough.
We're going to get some. Yeah. Hold on, Skip. You make it seem like we are the generals or something.
Okay, so I'll swing this on you. What if Clay does to Kyrie what he did to my little man, Patty Mills? And I'm not saying Patty Mills is Kyrie Irving because he's not, but he was my Spurs fire starter. He was their little engine that could. He was an igniter off the bench and then finally in the starting lineup in place of Tony Parker. And you know what Clay did to him?
Did you see Christmas? Christmas Day?
Yeah, I saw it.
Who was that shot on?
It was over Clay.
And how many points did Kyrie have?
Possession.
Listen, ain't no one-on-one, nobody stopping Kyrie. Did you see what he just did to Avery Bradley?
You know
Avery
what?
Bradley is every bit of the defender that Klay Thompson is.
I saw an amazing thing happening down the stretch to Klay Thompson, who we've seen ignite for what are his quarters? I can't remember what he's had.
Well, he had 37.
37 and a quarter, right?
Yes.
So clearly, he is a big-time scorer. I've often
absolutely.
said nobody on the Warriors can get hotter than Klay can when he gets hot. He can get hotter than Steph can. I'm not saying he's a better player, but he can get hotter.
Absolutely.
I thought he swallowed his pride. He checked his ego at the locker room door, and down the stretch, he said, through the playoffs, I'll just play defense. Yeah. We got plenty of scoring, so I'm going to give every ounce of my energy and effort on the defensive end. Patty Mills, look what he did. Games, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, obviously, because they got swept. He scores 5, 5, 7. He managed 14 in the last game, but he went 1 for 8 in the first game, 2 for 6 in the next game, 2 for 10 in game 3. I have never seen Patty Mills shut down the way Klay Thompson took him completely out of his game. Now, Patty's about 5'11", maybe, and Kyrie's 6'3". I'm going to give him 6'3", 6'2", 6'3".
But here's the thing, though, Skip. Patty Mills can't get his own shot. Patty Mills can't break you down off the dribble.
No, I got it.
So you got to set screens for him. Uncle Drew.
Hey, well, you're preaching to my choir over here. But I'm just saying, I think Klay could make his life tough, if not miserable, over time. If all he does is says, I'm going to take him out of the game and I'm not going to play offense. I'm not going to care about offense.
Well, okay, we'll put Klay in the pick and roll. If he's going to guard Kyrie, we'll put Klay in the pick and roll with LeBron.
Okay.
And we'll back him down.
Okay, I'm going to remind you that the best defensive team I've seen in the playoffs is clearly Golden State. In the regular season, they finished second barely to my Spurs, finished number 1 in defense. But Cleveland finished tied for 22nd in overall defense during the regular season. That's what you're banking on here. Really?
I'm banking on in the playoffs. I'm banking on, hold on. Who have they played that had the firepower offensively that the Cavs have? What team did they play got LeBron?
The competition is about 50-50 on either side.
Okay, what team did they play in the West that has a LeBron James or a Kyrie Irving? Nobody.
Well, Kawhi, he lasted, what, a half and then a half of a quarter?
Like Skippy in the military. How long did Skippy last in the military? Skippy didn't go to the military. Skippy peanut butter.
Oh, I don't know.
Exactly. That's how long he played. We got LeBron. We got the best player on the planet, Skip. Do you understand? 6'9", 255 pounds with 5% body fat. And when he start freight training down the line, what you gonna do?
We had the best two-way player in basketball, Kawhi Leonard, and we were up 23 mid-third quarter at Golden State in Game 1. So I'm actually giving you a point in your favor here because you should embrace what I just told you because it should give you a little bit of hope that a player who's slightly better than LeBron is at this advanced age, he's 38 now? 37.
Dude.
I get mixed up. 37 or 8. Which is it?
If you born on 12, 30, 84, how old does that make
I can't do
you?
that math. It's just I'm not very. You're much better at
He
math
about to
than I
be
am.
33 in about 6
33.
months.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, then he's a young man, but he's played
Young.
14 years.
Young.
He's played 14 pro years already? Wow, that's a lot of wear and tear.
11 first-team All-Pros.
Okay.
7 straight finals. 4 MVPs sandwiched in between there. That's a nice sandwich. Okay, I'm making a sandwich. 7 straight finals, that's my meat, like 2 patties.
Well, you know, he might be, you know how he calls Kevin Love Kev?
Kev. Yeah, Kev.
He might be calling him something else pretty soon because Kev might not fit in remember fit in, fit out? Remember that tweet from last year?
We
he
passed
might
that.
fit out on defense.
LeBron making him a sandwich, 7 straight finals, that's 2 pieces of meat. 4 MVPs, that's 3 pieces of meat.
Yeah.
11 straight All-NBA team.
LeBron likes to cook, huh? Sandwiches.
You see that? They got
cookies.
a sandwich. You see that burger they got, that 9-meat sandwich? They got one of these baseball ballparks. I think you and I
9
go.
patties.
9 patties. But Bron got a sandwich, got about 14 patties with all his accomplishments. MVP, all NBA, all that stuff going in between there, Skip. And when he take down the Fantastic Four.
Does he get a patty? Wait a second. Does he get a patty for shooting 67% from the free throw line this year?
Nah,
that's the burn patty on the bottom.
No. But what he does get is averaging 34, 8, and 7. 2 blocks. No, 1.4 blocks. 2.2 steals. How do I know those stats? Oh, Skip. Healy, stop feeding me information. Skip, go get up.
The only stats you know better are your own stats. You know every game-by-game stat of every catch you ever made.
I do, Skip.
It's scary.
Hold on, Skip. Yeah. Why you upset at... Hold on, where is LeBron? You know Crowder, he looking to pass because he know Bron was going to throw it right down his throat. We got something for you, KD. We coming. We. LeBron going to be out there tomorrow.
No mercy.
Last year, Steph Curry struggled against the Cavs in the finals. He shot just 40% from the field, including going 6 for 19 in Game 7. He also had more turnovers than assists in the playoffs so far this year. Curry is shooting over 50% and averaging nearly 29 points per game. Eddie House is with us. Eddie, how much does Steph have to prove in the finals this year?
I don't know if it's so much he has to prove anything. I mean, he's been averaging both finals 24 points. I think he could shoot better, and I think he will shoot better just because he has Kevin Durant there that's going to take some of the load and the pressure off. I think more of the pressure is on Kevin Durant than Steph.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. I think Steph he's definitely the key because what I think that the Cleveland going to do is I think they're going to try to hide him defensively. And I think they're going to run him off of screens. You can do like how they did John Wall, tire John Wall down, run him off of pin downs, and just run that action just to make him hit bodies. And not really because you're trying to run a play for JR, but just to make him run. Because the first thing when your legs go, your jumper goes. Right. And he can improve his shooting, but the way to keep him not from improving his shooting is to try to tire him out. Because, I mean, Steph's going to get his shots. They're going to make shots for him, and I don't think he has that much pressure on him. I think more so Kevin Durant, and that's why Kevin is coming out with all these little quotes acting like it's not all that serious. Like, oh, yeah, it doesn't define me. Yeah, it doesn't define me if I win. I think he's starting to feel a little bit of this pressure now.
I think the thing is maybe we had unrealistic expectations, especially last year after winning unanimous MVP, Skip. He was a 50, 40, 90 guy. 50% from the 4, 40% from 3, 90% from the free throw line. Very few players have ever done that. I think Larry Bird did it a couple of times. Dirk did it, and here's Steph doing it. And we expected him to do that when you're playing against better competition. And the Cavs went into the game and says, look, we're going to leave Harrison Barnes wide open. And if he beats us, we can live with it. Andre Iguodala coming in, if he beats us, we can live with it. We cannot let Steph and Klay go bonkers. Well, that Harrison Barnes figure now is Kevin Durant. And so I think Steph put a lot more pressure because I'm the MVP. When you win the MVP, what do you need to you need to show everybody why you won that award. And maybe he put a little bit more pressure on himself. But now when you got a 7-foot-tall Kevin Durant that can launch from 25 feet, now that takes some of the pressure off of you. But I agree. The biggest difference is that Uncle Drew made him work. Kyrie made him work on the defensive end. You want to tire a shooter out? Make him play defense. And that's what they did. So I think he'll play better. Remains to be seen if it's still enough to get them over the hump.
I disagree with you on the pressure. I think more pressure is on Steph Curry than on any other Golden State Warrior. And I don't think there's much, if any, pressure on LeBron James just because he's up against the super team that is the Golden State Warriors, and he's now a huge underdog in Las Vegas. Right. So pressure's mostly off LeBron. They did win last year. So he's good to go. I think he's going to, whatever he can be, he will be as great as he can be. But I don't know about my man Steph. And you know, I've told you from the start, I'm a huge Steph fan, and I pushed for him to go #1 over Blake Griffin before that draft. But he has not lived up in the last 2 finals to either of his regular season MVPs. He just hasn't been great. He was good 2 years ago, but he wasn't great, and he didn't win MVP in the finals. And then last year, throughout the playoffs, maybe he had a knee injury. I mean, I know he did. It was hurt, but he didn't need surgery on it after the season, so I can't defend him. His brother sat here, his younger brother, the other day and just said he just lost his burst. You know, he didn't have that quickness, that first step quickness that he usually had. And he's got it back now, and he's played great over the last month. I've never seen him any better than the last month, but I think his legacy is teetering in this finals. I think he better come up much bigger than he's played the last 2 when they have roughed him up and knocked him out of his game and his legs have gone. For whatever reason, he hasn't been Steph Curry. And last year in the playoffs, if you look from the conference finals to the finals, the conference semifinals, conference finals, and then the NBA finals, his PER, that player efficiency rating, it fell dramatically each round. It was all the way down to 16-3 in the finals. And over those last 3 games of the finals, when they blew it, he had 7 assists to 12 turnovers. That's just, by his standards, it's terrible. So I think there's huge pressure on him to live up to being Steph Curry.
I think if you look at the finals, the 2 finals that he played, he turned the ball over more than he ever has.
Yeah.
You know, most of the time he takes care of the basketball. He has a great handle, really makes solid plays. He's been turning it over. That's what makes him not look like himself, is those turnovers.
Right.
I think that's going to get cleaned up. I think he's not going to put that. He had pressure on himself then. The one thing he has to do is just clean up his turnovers. And the one way you do that, you got a guy you can rely on, Kevin Durant. You don't have to have the ball in your hand and have to make all of the plays. So I think that's going to get cleaned up. I don't think he has that much pressure. I think he's feeling cool going into this, knowing that he does have a safety valve in KD.
I agree with you. The pressure's on Kevin Durant because this is Steph Curry's team. Kevin Durant left his team to join a 73-9 team.
But a unanimous MVP opened his arms to accept in another MVP after he was up 3-1 on the Cavs.
And like you said, Skip, they didn't call him. He called them.
Yeah.
He went there because he's saying, I want to win a title so bad that I will go link up with a powerhouse team in order to win that title because I don't believe I can win here. Or if I do get to the finals here with this team, I can't beat what's coming out of the East and LeBron. So he wanted to make sure he's going to battle, and excuse the analogy, but that he's going into, that he got the best of possible soldiers. And that's what he has, Skip. I mean, you got a 2-time MVP, and you got 3 other All-Stars. That's what Kevin Durant joined. So the pressure is immense because if he can't win it with this team, Skip, when and where can he win it?
Okay, but you said it's Steph's team,
Yes.
right? So in the end, he better play the biggest on the floor. I don't expect that much from Kevin in these finals. I don't expect him to dominate or win the MVP.
Like I said earlier, I think the pressure's on KD, and that's why he's coming out with these quotes, acting like, downplaying it. If he don't win, it's not all that. It doesn't really matter. It's because he's feeling the pressure right now. He's been in this situation before and lost. He was up. If he didn't care about winning the championship, why did you jump ship then?
Yeah.
Because you came to win. And your success is going to be dedicated to it. Are you going to win this championship or not? Otherwise, they're going to say season was a failure, which it was. You can't say you had a successful season if you didn't win a championship.
Because
bottom
what
line.
they do, Skip, every year they have who's the best player never to win a championship. They mention Karl Malone. They mention the Charles Barkley. They mention Kevin Durant does not want to be on that list. So he says, let me put myself in the best position possible to I can achieve this. Because at the end of the day, Skip, are we really 20 years from now, will we look back and say, well, he joined the super team?
No, you just
got to
win. No mercy. This is the Skip and Shannon Undisputed podcast, where we're delivering you an unscripted, unfiltered, undisputed version of the biggest topics of the day's show. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, and YouTube. Like us on Facebook at Undisputed on FS1, follow on Twitter at Undisputed, and catch us at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 6:30 Pacific, Monday through Friday on FS1. You can find us on Channel 219 on DirecTV, 150 on Dish. Thanks for listening. I'm your host, Joy Taylor. That's all for us today. We continue the countdown to the NBA Finals tomorrow when we're joined by Eddie House, Chris Carter, and Austin Rivers. We'll all be in studio. We'll talk to you then.
Fox Sports, one of one.